Hey folks, welcome aboard the channel. I'm Don. I'm returning to James McMurtry today, courtesy of a gift request. Let's see, it's Canola Fields and Bilbus Wilbury. Shout out to you. Thank you for this gift and request. You provided some information in this. I did my first reaction to James like 4, maybe 5 years ago. And you said this, you added this information, Bilbus. You said James is the son of novelist Larry McMurtry and author of The Last Picture Show, Terms of Endearment. Wasn't that Jack Nicholson? Pretty sure it was. And Lonesome Dove. So, yeah, and I've done, I don't know, maybe 5 reactions, but it's been a while since I've done one to James. So let's see what Canola Fields. Only thing I know about canola is canola oil. I don't know if there's any connection to this. You know it's going to be a story,
I was thinking
though.
about you crossing southern Alberta. Canola fields on a July day, about the same chartreuse as that 69 bug you used to drive around San Jose. Never knew where my old white Lincoln might take you. Party on wheels with suicide doors. Bring the kids and the dogs and your grandma too. We always had room for more. Till that white knuckle ride back from Santa Cruz. Second best surfer on the Central Coast. Had you wrapped up all the way back to Los Gatos, and I coulda cut his throat. And it wasn't like we were an item to start with, it had no basis in fact. But the whiskey could push me to sudden extremes. I don't want to think about that. I don't want to think about that. Take my hand, Marie. Take a death grip on some part of me. Drifting far out to sea, or I'll be lost out there.
Yeah. Where's James from?
We all filtered away with the days getting shorter, seeking our place in the greater scheme. Kids and careers and a vague sense of order, busting apart at the seams. I heard you switched coast, moved in with your sister. I doubt you'd have called it familial bliss. We met up in Brooklyn before it went hipster. You carried your keys in your fist.
How does he know all this? He did research for this, or he's really gotten around, because Brooklyn definitely went hipster. 15 to 20 years ago, I'd say, but it really has accelerated since. I'm in Jersey, so I know. I go to Brooklyn every so often. Goodness gracious. I love the detail he puts into his stuff. Just the nuance that's in there is uncommon. It's like John Priney.
In a way back corner of a crosstown bus, we were hiding out under my hat, cashing in on a 30-year crush. You can't be young and do that. You can't be young and do that.
30 years.
Take my hand, Marie. Take a death grip on some part of me. Keep me from drifting far out to sea, or I'll be lost out there. I'll be lost out there.
Is he out of Texas?
I was thinking about you crossing southern Alberta. Canola fields at harvest time look like tumbleweeds all raked up into rows, brown rusty contour lines. There's not much moving on the romance radar. Not that I'm craving it all that much, but I still need to feel every once in a while the warmth of a smile and a touch.
Yeah.
In a way back corner of a crosstown bus, we were hiding out under my hat, cashing in on a 30-year crush. You can't be young and do that. You can't be young and do that. You can't be young and do that. You can't be young and do that.
Not have at least 30 years on you.
Take my hand, Marie. Take a death grip on some part of me. Keep me from drifting far out to sea, or I'll be lost out there. I'll be lost out there. I'll be lost out there.
Oh. Yeah, I love when somebody that's like strong and smart and all that will also make himself vulnerable and just say almost matter-of-factly with a little bit of emotion, I need you all or I'll be lost. You know, so when you're really smart, somewhat we tend to think that we could think our way through things and just deal and will ourselves into the proper emotions and such. But I really like when somebody understands enough about the human condition, his own condition in this case, to know I'll be lost without you. Like you're a missing component to me. And it's one of those things that it's not as much a social contract as much a social dynamic where when you meet any person along life's path, you could become friends with them. You might not, but you might wind up dating a person, or you might wind up becoming friends and you like them and they don't like you in that way or whatever. Like any person you meet might fulfill something in you, whatever that need. So we're social creatures. We have that need. And you're at risk no matter who you meet, that you might become friends for a little while and then they weird out on you, or you lose some fondness for being with them, whether it's just a bud, a sports fan, or a love interest. And in this case, anybody you meet, it's a risk. And that's what happened here. But he did mention the 30-year crush. And I love that line because it's one that's so obvious that you might think I'm not even going to put it in there, where he said he was going to cash in on a 30-year crush. I think that was the line. So he liked his girl for 30 years, whether they had a romance earlier in life and he returned to it later, like in his heart and mind. But if you've had a 30-year crush, really, she's going to be at least 15 at the time the crush begins. So let's just say at least 45 years old. And that's when he said, you can't be young and have that, or something to that effect. You've got to be older to have a 30-year crush. Seems obvious, is obvious. But when it's in a song like this, it's one of those appreciated, nuanced details that just sort of really sets the framework of how involved he is mentally and emotionally with her. And whether she reciprocates or not, we didn't find out. I mean, she hasn't yet, or the song would have taken a different sort of tone or direction. But he's like, grab on to some part of me with a death grip. In the beginning of the song, there's another reference to death when he talked about suicide doors. But I don't know if that's what they're called on a van. Like, I lost a boot. Actually, I had a pair of Fry boots back when I was, 18 or so. My first pair of cowboy boots. We call them cowboy boots up here in Jersey. Down south, you just call them boots. But I lost one. My buddies and I were out driving. We had some girls, of course. We were out driving in my buddy's van, and he had one that's, slid open sideways. And where that boot went, I don't know. I couldn't throw the other boot out either, but it was just mocking me because you can't wear one shoe, one boot. And maybe that's a suicide door. I don't know, but still sad about that boot. But square-toed too, even though I wouldn't wear square-toe now. That's what it was. All right, I'll rate that song, Bilbus. Yeah, there was a lot in that. That's John Prine, Tom T. Hall type stuff where there's so much in it. You're like, good God. But there was a through line. He kept it relatable. The number that struck me was a 9.3 on the detail, on the fullness of that story. It wasn't traditional country, but a lot of the country that I do is a lot of the songs I do. I mean, bluegrass, it's in the country family. But this here, I mean, how would you categorize this? If you had just gotten this song and nobody told you anything about the artist or anything and you heard it, how would you categorize that? Yeah. Gosh. I'm just going to wait on your guys' responses. Jeff Catherine, I know you'll have something to say on this one. So, all right, folks. Bilbus, thank you for that, my friend. Have a great day. I'll see you on another video and keep rocking the country.